Step 2. What is a debt service coverage ratio, why it matters, and how it works? Debt service coverage ratio is something that the lenders use all the time. It is virtually how they determine how much they will lend to you, the borrower. If the property is a rehab, turnaround situation, then they will want to calculate this as if it was stabilized, so they know how much the property can sustain. If it is already stabilized, then they will want to calculate it based on the history. So what is the debt service coverage ratio? Simply put, it is the net cash flow of the property before debt payments for 1 year divided by annual debt payments based on the loan you will take out on the property. The best way to understand this is by using an example. Let's say you are buying a 20-unit apartment for $4 million, which means you are paying $200,000 a door. They are all 2-bedroom, 1-bath units, and it is built in the early 2000s. You look at the historical profit and loss statements and determine that they are generating $336,000 a year in gross rents. You notice they are running 95% occupancy, so you take that 5% off and have $319,200 in net gross income on the property. Next, you look at the operating expenses and determine they are running at $111,720 or 35% expense ratio. And this gives you a $207,480 net operating income. The lender is going to also underwrite with $250 per unit, which means you multiply $250 by 20 units, and this is $5,000. You deduct $5,000 from $207,480 and come up with $202,480 of net cash flow. This is the number the lenders are going to use as the numerator in the debt service coverage calculation. Let's say next you want to borrow 70% of the purchase price. You would take $4 million multiplied by 70%, and this gives you a loan amount of $3 million. From here, the lender is going to calculate the annual debt payment. They will take a 30-year amortization and use a 3.65% rate. The annual debt payment from these inputs is $164,685 a year. Finally, you take the $202,480 of net cash flow and divide it by the $164,685 a year, and your ratio is 1.23 times. The lender needs to have a minimum of 1.2 debt service coverage ratio. Anything higher than the ratio is great, and anything lower than a 1.2 will mean they need to lower the loan amount. If you were doing someone on a projection-based deal, they would do the same thing, but all based on future numbers. This is the debt service coverage ratio.